Television is all very well.
So we're back at Shepperton Racecourse now.
Absolutely.
I just like, if you are interested, I think that the most important thing directing, particularly like comedy and romance, is casting. I think this is a wonderful cast, but I'm particularly proud of the people who aren't the leads, because I think if you look at all the faces, quite a lot of care was taken in the casting. Well, I know it was because I took that care. And this is sort of Nigel's posse, you'll see, and there's another character who's going to come in later, and you know, if you are bothering to watch this more than once, look at the faces in the background, because you take as much care casting those as you do the leads, in a way. So Hugh, you won't be watching this, will you?
No.
Well, you look very good, not as good as Jodie, but you do look good.
I love what they've done in here. They've covered the walls in a sort of blue Hessian.
I know, it's a lovely environment.
Yeah.
If I can just tell the punters, there were no bits on display. We took a sort of view, and eventually...
You took a view.
Well, Hugh wore a sort of knob sock, and Jolie wore kind of nipple tapes.
Knob sock, is that another technical?
That's a technical term. It's we offered you a stunt knob, but you decided to sock your own.
We used a knob sock, and oddly enough, you have to buy knob socks in pairs.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you have a friend,
yes, if you have a friend. Well,
no, you do. That's what a gentleman does in the moving picture industry. When called upon to be naked, he has to wear a sock.
He puts a sock on his knob, and
so he might be wearing 3 socks in the scene.
Because if he doesn't take his socks off, in fact, you know, sometimes in sex scenes when they say, "Did you take your sock off?" they don't mean the socks at all.
No,
anyway,
no.
Carrying on. So as I say, there were no bits on display, and no.
There isn't a lens strong enough, frankly, to
take it in. But it does make for a big trouble for the director and the camera crew, because you constantly get a good shot, and then the continuity person says, "Oh no, saw a little bit of the sock," or "saw a bit of tape on Jolie." And eventually you start to say, should we just dispense with these things? And, of course, what happens then is you say, no, we saw nipples, we saw knobs, so either way you can't win. Because we didn't want nipples or knob, because we wanted a nice picture, not one of those pictures. So there's an awful lot of great bits of comedy, which I haven't been able to use. There's the flashing the bum scene. We didn't use a bum sock, did we? I'm afraid Jolie really did have to.
No.
Did have to look, I'm afraid, straight up your one-eyed cyclops. Well,
she was very nice about it.
She is sort of half averted, but she had to look.
She hasn't been quite the same since. There was a sort of... Our relationship changed after that.
But it is terribly frustrating when you're editing the movie and you get a great take and you can't use it, because why on earth would a married couple be putting socks on their knobs, etc.? So here's Tom Hollander. Marvellous performance.
Fantastic. It was quite an annoyingly brilliant performance from Tom Hollander. I think he's stupidly talented and has to be killed.
He's not Scottish. He worked hard on that accent. He used to ring his voice coach over the phone and say, "I've got this line, how would I say it?" I actually think he was probably ringing... I was about to say something libelous. Should we say ringing his off licence? I'm just going to look through the window to our engineer to say, look, neither Hugh or I have ever done this. Is this complete crap? No?
Yes, he's nodding.
Is this what people...
Well, it's exactly what everyone else does. Oh, really?
Well, he's in because, you know, I mean, he can afford to be. He's an enormous star, isn't he? Well, we could be rude about Harry, couldn't we? We could say he's a boring old arse. But he's not. He's lovely. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if that'll be on the DVD, but that was the voice of our engineer assuring us that this waffle is vaguely of interest. As I say, I'd watch the movie.
I don't think he assured us of any such thing. All he said was that this is sort of what people do, which is not the same thing at all. Doesn't mean it's of interest.
That's true. That's true. We'll
it's as boring as everyone else is when, you know.
All we can do is assure the public that we're not being paid for this. Now, this is
It'll be a great weight off their mind.
I'm sure it will. I imagine people saying, "Do you think they get paid?"
Do you think money changes hands for this sort of pap?
Well, it certainly doesn't. Anyway, here's another dinner table scene. Very difficult to shoot. But I think it looks rather splendid. It was shot in a gentleman's club. I can't remember where, but it's supposed to look like the breakfast room at Claridge's, where many media deals are indeed done. And I think, again, the set designer and they made an enormous amount of cinema value with very little money to spend.